Half-a-day sports fans, this is Patrick Lujan at GSPN. We have the pleasure of having FD football coach Bruce Meno join us for our next segment of Sports Speak. Also, a big thank you to the Guam Museum for having us here to host us for this interview. Bruce, congratulations coming off of win number 6 in a row. But first, before we start the true interview, the big question is, how in the world did you agree to do this interview?
Pat, I was just text Keone, I forgot I promised you that I owe you an interview, and it had to be after the season. So, my how I am, but it is after the season, so I agreed to it. So here I am.
No, I appreciate it. I know how hard it is for that. Let's talk about the road to the quest for number 6. You guys, every week this season, every game you had the target on your back. Every team is bringing their best. How difficult it is to prepare week after week for something like that with the pressure on?
Oh, it's very difficult. The coaches and I, we get together all the time, try to look at what we did wrong, what we can do better, what we need to focus on, what part of the game we need to concentrate on, how we can overcome our opponent. Mm-hmm. And every opponent that every team has a strength, and every team has a weakness, and we always meet and make sure that we understand where we're going, who are we facing, and what we need to do to be successful.
Your two most competitive games in the regular season were against Southern High and Guam High. Those are the two teams you competed in the semifinals and the finals. Big difference in that adjustment. From the first regular season games to the playoffs. From a coaching standpoint, what adjustments did you guys make that you can share with everybody?
The game of football has different facets. There's just so much facets, right? Most important facet of the game is we just got to make sure that we got good field position. We got to make sure that our special teams put us in a good position where either defense or offense can have a advantage. That's one thing. The next thing is our football, our strength is in our line. And that showed in this last championship game. Our defensive line is dominant this game. And, we knew that we're leaning to them to make sure that they gave the offense the best position that we can to score.
As intense as you are on the sidelines, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
There's intel that says that you kind of have a sense of nervousness prior to the game. That can't be true, is it?
Oh, man. And it's just not me, the coaches and I, but primarily Coach Keone and I it's not even, it goes all the way to game 1. It does not matter what opponent we face. It's just nerve-wracking. It is loss of sleep, just anxious, anxiety.
That's a lot of things
yes.
that the fans or even the parents don't see behind the scenes.
Yes, and it's hard.
Speaking of hard, you guys are on a streak, 6 years in a row out of 9 seasons, right, for you. Very, very impressive. 57-game win streak going into the off season. 57 is also the number of your son, Vance.
Yes.
How cool is that to have that going into the off season?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's also the number of the late Zach Nicholas. So it's a great, it's a good number. 57. Vance has been a water boy since I started playing football. I started coaching there. So it's really amazing. And Coach Keone just sent a pic of, and that's awesome because it's so shows him on our first championship right next to Roe Cup, and he's small, just excited, and it shows him, and then he shows Coach Keone shows another picture of him scoring the touchdown on the last game. So it's really amazing.
There's a lot of comparison, at least on the local level, with yourself and NFL great coach Bill Belichick. Right? The intensity, the discipline, the media boycott, right, with your kids. I mean, we already know what the FD players are going to say. It's almost robotic when it comes to Bruce Meno's teams. What is that somebody that you look at and you learn from with all the successes that he's had with the Patriots, and something that you also want to establish with your program?
Oh man, thank you, but I could never place me in the same as Bill Belichick because he's the greatest. But And I looked up to him. We learned from all the coaches. Our success also goes back just to our local coaches. Coach Posadas, Coach Frem Leon Guerrero from me. Coach, all the coaches, just like Lauren Cruz. I mean, Coach Keone and I are, Coach House Sharoma. I mean, Coach Keone and I, and some of the coaches had the opportunity to play under all those coaches, to include House Sharoma, Ivan Sharoma, so we were just students of the games, learning from them, and then, we just evolve our game and learn, read, and follow what happens in stateside so that we can give the best education for football, education to our boys.
How does that concept of, discipline coming around, even to the sense of, working with you guys and broadcasting your games and then putting the games, dropping it down so other teams don't see. I mean, people say it's secretive, but it's also tactile. It's a tactic thing.
That's strategy. And you're right, it's discipline, but at the same time, it's strategy. And like I told you before, it's just weakness and strengths. At the same time, it's the basic fundamental of anything we do is it's derived from discipline and humility. So, that's where we stand, and that's how we develop our program.
Talking about Island football, FD being an all-boys private school, and the other public schools out there, the challenges that they have, they always say, "Oh, FD's recruiting." What do you say about that to those?
Well, they weren't there 8 years ago when we started, right? I mean, I think we won 2 games. I don't know how many games we won, but it was the dark days. The first 2 years was Keone and I. Thompson. God bless his soul. He looked at us and said, "Okay, you got 4 years. And I'm going to give you 4 years." But the first year was like, we came to practice. It was like one player. It was hard. It was difficult. And then we just, instilled discipline, hard work. And then next year was not even, that great. But we've had some troubles. We didn't come into coaching and then hand deliver a championship, team. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, commitment, and passion. It took us, after the 3rd year when we made it to the championship, even that year was difficult. We had less than like 30 some players, and then barely 40 suited up, right? But we made it to the championship. We weren't successful. GW won the championship from that year, but being successful that year was where we were at today. We started, people like, "Oh, I want to be part of this team. I want to be part of the program."
Part of that well-oiled machine, like I like to call it, is your offensive schemes, right? Where you run a no-huddle offense. All 11 players are looking to the sideline for you, giving them the signals. How did that come about? Going with the no-huddle. The concept of signaling in, nonverbal. Tell us the whole origin of that.
So that started the 3rd year. It was very difficult for our guys to go in and out, and the quarterbacks were coming in and out. So by the time they get out there, they just lose a lot of time. And then I just started reading about what was successful in the collegiate level, getting more plays. So it's just a lot of studying the game, studying what types of offenses out there that can be very advantageous for us.
So can you give us about maybe 3 plays? Give me the signals of 3 plays. You don't even have to say what it is. Just do it.
This is all you're getting, Pat.
That's it? That's baseball.
That's it.
That's like slide into second base type of thing.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. See how secretive things are? You can't even pull that out. But we got him on the seat. All right, Bruce, we've got some questions from some of our friends, right? Quote unquote friends, right? So Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right. How did you become head coach of the Friars? I heard there's an interesting story behind that.
Yes. Thank you to Bill Ada and Keone Badua.
Okay.
Of course. So I was Bill Ada's offensive coordinator the year prior I took over, and then they call me and say, okay, let's talk at BJ, I think BJ Barbecue, is that, if I'm not, in Harmon Industrial Park. I'm like, okay, let's meet and talk about upcoming season.
Because you were the offensive coordinator.
I was the offensive coordinator, and Bill Atta was the head coach. So I go there during lunch, and they scripted both. And I come in there like, oh yeah, let's go over, we're gonna talk about the next season and everything. And Bill Atta, just starts off the meeting, goes, okay, Bruce, I'm really busy at work. There's a lot of things going on and everything. You're the head coach. So I'm speechless. I'm like, oh, what about Keone? No, and Bill Atta goes, no, you're the head coach. Keone's over there quiet, like he didn't know anything. I'm looking at him like, hey, what's going on?
So you made those defensive guys
I don't even think, yeah, they're bullies. I didn't even think I ate the food, and they paid for it. I went in, walked out, and then Mr. Thompson calls. He goes, okay, hey, young man, and that's his, infamous
young man. Yes.
Young man. Okay, you're a coach. Good. This is what you got to do. I said, hold up. I didn't even accept it, and then here we are, 8 years now.
Wow. That's Bill's trick.
Yeah.
He pays for the bill.
Yeah, he needs to come out and help our coach. Bill, you need to come out and help our coach.
Another question from your friends. Where did you develop your coaching style?
Oh, like I said, so there, Tony Posada started this program in the 90s. I mean, he was very instrumental to where I'm at right now. I had the privilege for playing also under Frame Leon Guerrero. So kind of very familiar offense, gap offense they ran, primarily here in Guam. And then, took a lot from them. Tony Posada is a lot from him. He's a very great offensive coordinator, good head coach. I owe him a lot of gratitude. Where I'm at right now is not because of Coach Tony Posadas. A lot of us at FD, the FD success, the FD program is an exception from Tony Posadas, our success. Mm-hmm. I mean, you play under him? I'm not sure.
Jimmy,
right? Okay, so he was a turning point of FD, and then I also had the opportunity to play under Ivan Sharoma, and Ivan's offense very, very different, especially with his dad. Mm-hmm. They're all different, and they all have good qualities to their offense. I just basically have the opportunity to combine all their offense, a lot what I've learned, through books and everything, and just put it together.
Next question from a friend. If there were 3 defenders guarding you, and you saw your teammate J. Leon Guerrero wide open under the basket, would you pass the ball to him?
No.
That's what
I would look for EJ. I think everybody else in my position will do the same thing.
All right, here's a next question from a friend. Who's taller, you or Eddie Pelkey?
Oh, I'm much taller than Eddie.
By a lot, right?
Oh yeah, I think I got him by 3 inches.
Finally, Bruce, I appreciate you coming. This means a lot to me. This is my question. You're at 57 right now. I know you have a number in your mind where you want to hit, and you can't say, there is no number, but I'm sure there is some number in your brain that you want to reach. There's a goal behind it as far as this winning streak is concerned. Can you tell me what that is?
The streak is nice and everything, but our focus is just making sure the success of the football program. And we focus on that, and that's the goal. Mm-hmm. Our goal is our objective is championship. And it's success. Mm-hmm. And we want to teach our kids success. And in order for success, you got to have effort. You got to put effort. Mm-hmm. The more effort you put into something, probability of you being successful is higher. And that's what we teach our kids. Who's not going to want a championship? Who's not going to want to win? And that's what we work for. But we got to prepare our boys, and we all also have to be resilient when there's a time when it comes where we're not successful, and we got to overcome that. And still, what we got to do is learn how to, get back up and move forward. And that's the goal, is championship. And also teach how to handle mistakes.
Bruce Meno, what's the secret of success?
It's the great support from our administration, from Tony Thompson to Temo Paris. If they don't believe in us, if they don't have any belief that we can do it, and have the continued support they have over the years, in any program, it's going to be failure. But their commitment to this team and to the school and to the academics and to produce scholar athletes so that we can do our very best to get them to the next level. Maybe not playing, but to get them to at least get to college so that they can have better opportunities. That's where we're passionate. That's why we're successful, is because the administration supports us.
And I'm going to add icing to the cake there, Bruce. The parent support is incredible.
Yes,
every successful athlete that I've been covering for decades has a very supportive,
by far,
parent behind them. Whether it's our locals, looking at even our stateside athletes that have Guam roots.
Yes,
they have very supportive parents.
Yes,
so definitely true. Definitely learning. It's beyond sports. It's life in and of itself. So once again, appreciate you coming through, always supporting GSPN, a dear friend to GSPN, to me and the crew. Much appreciated to Bruce Meno. Once again, thank you to the Guam Museum for having us here for the special edition of Sports Speak.